beginning chapter 9 and finishing the book, hopefully with this video. Okay, so this is more like business type of thing, and owning a vehicle, registering a vehicle, all right, and some things, inspection of the vehicle, license plates, all right. So just some do's and don'ts with this. All right, so this begins on page 158. All right, with your highlighting. So start with this first paragraph that's here. Okay. New Jersey residents who buy a new or used vehicle must title, register, and insure it before it could be on public roads. Right, and make sure you have liability insurance. Okay, which will be discussed a little bit later. Okay. All of the registrations are typically valid for 1 year, right? So every year, all right, you have to re-register your vehicle. Okay, and a lot of times you can do this through the mail. Okay. On the following page, all right, just some things with your license plates. All right, so one of them, okay, is that number one, they have to be visible. Okay, so this is why if you have license plates, especially the rear license plates, have light bulbs on them. All right, so if that light bulb happens to be out, all right, that's a primary offense. You could be stopped just for that. All right, and ask questions about it. All right, so here it is. Both plates must be clean and visible. And then it just goes over, all right, how far, all right, the rear plate must be lighted so it's visible from 50 feet, even at night, all right, and with reflectorized license plates that are there. Okay, so if there's any protection or anything like that, it can't obscure someone from being able to read the numbers and letters on that. Okay. Next, if all right, you happen to lose or your plates are stolen, all right, the first people you report that to are the police, and then retain a copy of the complaint, all right, and then inform the motor vehicle commission. All right. Next, if a motorist sells his or her vehicle and does not transfer the plates to another vehicle, he or she must surrender the old plates at the MVC Commission agency or mail them back to the MVC. And there's the address or there. The receipt will be provided, and this should be kept in a safe place. Now, this being is because remember that New Jersey is the most densely populated state we have. So we're actually running out of combinations of letters and numbers. So when people aren't using them, they have to be turned in, and so maybe the number can be used by the next person that's there. Okay. Vehicle inspection. Okay, so your parents probably remember having to have your car inspected every year. All right, that's no longer the case. Now it's every 2 years. All right, it depends upon the model year of your car. All gasoline fuel passenger registered vehicles model year 96 and newer, more than 5 years old, registered in New Jersey, must pass a state inspection every 2 years at a state inspection station or a state licensed private inspection facility. All right, so the closest one to us is in that Manahawkin area right across the street from the Olive Garden that's there. All right. Next. After you register the vehicle, okay, all motorists must bring a valid driver's license, a valid New Jersey registration, and insurance documents for the vehicle to be inspected at either a state inspection facility. All right, and when moving into New Jersey from another state, a motorist must have his or her vehicle 5 years, model years or older, inspected within 14 days after registering it. All right, so 14 days, 2 weeks is your deadline for that. Okay. Remember, the best time to have your vehicle inspected is middle of the month. All right, middle of the week. All right, because hardly anybody's there at that particular time. All right. Insurance. All right, we've mentioned this a bunch of different times in class. All right, but remember that motor vehicle liability insurance is mandatory in the state of New Jersey. Every vehicle registered in New Jersey must have at least liability insurance. All right, this is based upon, remember, liability means at fault in a crash. All right, so you're if you happen to be deemed at fault in a crash, and your insurance company will take up the expenses for the other person's vehicle and then yours. All right. This concludes chapter 9. All right. So just remember, all right, that the rest of this book here, okay, here's your motorcycle manual that's here, right? You're not tested on anything having to do with motorcycles. Okay. So we're just going to skip right to the appendix, which is completely in the back of the book. All right. Which is here, which is an actual review of chapter 2. Okay, so make sure, again, as you're reading through this appendix back here, okay, that, again, all of these things that are here under driver safety, right, should make sense and be common sense for you at this particular time. So it just talks about traffic signals, all right, what all the lights means. All right, remember that yellow and amber mean the same thing. All right, so if you're gonna highlight anything on this section, it would be right here. Right, this is if people are going to get anything wrong about the lights, it's normally, all right, a motorist should stop before entering the intersection or crosswalk, unless it is so close to the intersection it cannot stop safely. All right, not speed up and get through the light. All right, which a lot of people do. Okay, and then the rest of this area here, okay, just shows you examples of signs. All right. All the different things that are here. Again, everything we talked about in chapter 2 in the book, that's there. All right. The classifications of signs. All right. And then how to recognize them. Right. Number of signs, things like that. Remember, octagon means 8. And then it just goes through, all right, all the different things that we covered in chapter 2 already. So the rest of this stuff should be review. Okay. All right. But again, read through it. And if there's any questions with it, obviously you can email me back with anything about that. All right. Thanks.